Hey there everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Math. Today we're going to be covering converting metric units. Well, we talked about this last week about why it's easier to use metric units for converting. Now here's a little bit more information about that. So here, let's focus on the table up here first. You're going to start to notice some words that are familiar. So we've got kilo, deci, centi, and milli. Now, hectare and deca we haven't dealt with yet, so that's okay, but they're going to keep them on this table. And when you say base, when they're talking about base, they mean gram, meter, and liter are the base. Those are the base level for those units. Now let's take a look at this example here. This is a little shortcut to help out, but each time you jump from one box to the other, it's worth a times 10. And this one times 10. So if I moved both of these here, if I moved from base to centi, well, that's 10 times 10, which is equal to 10 times 100. Okay, and hopefully it'll make a little more sense if we go through this. Here's a little example down below. This is working going to the left, going backwards. So 36 milliliters. And I'll erase this. If I take a look at millimeters, I've got it right here. Meters is going to be my base, and I have to move backwards this time. I have to go 1, 2, 3. Well, if I go backwards, it's going to be dividing by 10, divide by 10, divide by 10, which is the same thing as dividing by 1,000. Or I can use this little trick with the decimal point. I can go 1, 2, 3, and I find out that 36 millimeters is equal to 0.036 meters. One that should make sense because millimeters are smaller than meters. So if I have a small amount of millimeters, then it can't make a full meter. So it makes sense that it's a fraction of that meter. Let's take a look at the example from this week. Example 1. The tree in Cameron's front yard is 4 meters tall. How many centimeters tall is the tree? So we are starting off again with our meters, which is the base, gram, meters, and liters. And I have 4 meters while moving to centimeters. Well, this is going to, if I move up, that I'm going to do times 10. Small again, times 10. Well, 10 times 10 is 100, so this is where they get that 100 from. Now if I did our little decimal trick, comes 1, 2, that'd be 400. So 4 meters would be equal to 400 centimeters. And notice I brought back this from last week. We're going to be doing larger to smaller, so we're going to be using multiplication. And you notice I've got multiplication here to help show us that we're using multiplication to get bigger, or from bigger to smaller units. Take a look at that next example. Example 2, complete 5 liters to how many milliliters? Again, let's use the table here. Liters is my base, millimeters right here. Well, that's 1, 2, 3 jumps, or times 10, times 10, times 10, which is equal to times 1,000. So I see the 1,000 there. I can do 5. There's technically a decimal point at the end of every whole number. That's 3 to the right, so 1, 2, 3. Fill in with zeros, and I get 5,000 milliliters is equal to 5 liters. Now that we've broken it down for the 2 examples, let's look at some problems on page 803. I'm doing 7 through 9. I have our little table again here to help you out. You also have a little bit of a table kind of like this in your book, but I'll put this on the website so you guys can have access to this too. So we're taking a look at 6 liters. Well, liters is my base, and I'm moving 1, 2, 3 over to get to milliliters. There's that M. Well, that's going to be times 10. That's times 100. This is going to be times 1,000. So 6 times 1,000 is going to be 6,000. Or if I wanted to use my decimal jump, I can say, well, it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 6,000. I got the same thing. All right, erase this. Starting off in my base again for number 8, meters. So I'm on my base. I'm going to centimeters. Well, that's 10, 100. So I'd multiply 5 times 100, which would be 500. Or I can do decimal 1, 2, 0, 0 and get 500 yet again. And last but not least, for number 9, kilogram. And I'm going to be moving over to my base. So that's 1, 2, 3. So times 10 times 10 times 10. You know it's going to be 2 times 1,000. So we get 2,000. Or we could do our decimal. Well, that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And get 2,000. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys get started. Please let me know if you have any questions, and don't forget to check out the Khan Academy videos and activities for extra help. Have a great day, guys.